Hello everyone, welcome to this week's stream. I'm Aurélien and we will be talking about Fedora infrastructure applications again. So, hello everyone, let me set up my things. I'm almost not late this time, that's pretty impressive. Alright, so what do we have? Okay. Alright, sound should be correct, at least the volume doesn't seem to be horrible. Okay. How's this with the... Because my setup, although it might look the same, it's a bit different this time because 2 days ago I split some tea over my keyboard and it's dead. So I am using my laptop's keyboard, so things that are a bit different, but hopefully I'll manage. Yes, okay. Screen is here. All right. Let's get started. So let me share the screen. Here it is. So what can we do today? So let me tell you what I've been doing this past week. I've been mostly working on Mirror Manager and Badges, the consumer, and I can give you an update on Mirror Manager, but the Badges thing is the one that has moved a lot less lately. I think I have a working Badges consumer. So the consumer is the part that awards the badges. I have a working one for that's going to work on RHEL 9, for example, anything, or Apple 9, or anything that is recent and that doesn't depend on Fedmessage or so what did I do? Yeah, it doesn't need to be run on its own VM. It can run in OpenShift, you know, all the upgrades that we wanted to do. I think I'm reaching the end of that, and I'm just adjusting the unit test right now. So this up has a question. I had a whole plan for doing my 40 upgrade while I was on vacation next week, and then they pushed it to the 23rd. Yep, that happens. You can upgrade to the beta, I suppose, if you have this time frame and you want to do it at that time. Did the batch system from last week ever finish? Yes, it is running right now in OpenShift and it's working. I seem to have been able to award badges, to like receive badges when something happens on the network. I have run the cron jobs. So let me show you the state of the cron jobs. So if you remember from last week, there was some cron jobs that didn't work. I don't remember exactly why, but I fixed them at that time, and so they're running periodically, of course, because they are cron jobs. That's what they do, and I think that they work now. I haven't checked that lately, actually. Let me check that. Okay. All right, so I see that, right, there was one that I have, yes, award badges dev, this one is running properly, Liberator is running properly, Mirror working, update rules, that's the one that updates the repo, the rules repo that is being used by the other ones. And there are failures on award lifecycle and award group memberships. That shouldn't be the case. What's the last log? Or maybe it's the other one. List group sponsor. Oh yes, there's an us missing. But when did that happen? Because that might be the older. Yes, that's the 5th of April. So it hasn't run again. It's gonna run this weekend, I suppose. That's from last week. Okay. And the lifecycle one had issues as well, if I remember correctly. So what's this one? Yeah, errors. Tons of errors. Service unavailable for... Yeah, that's a big service unavailable thing. Application is not serving request at this endpoint. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, something may be wrong on the configuration. This one is from the 10th of April. So yeah, it should be fixed. Okay. All right, so first thing I can do is fix that. I think that's going to be the other screen, not this one. Yes, this one. Then I'll show you where we're at with it. So yes, this one is failed. It says service unavailable. Error loading the spec. Maybe the URL to fastJSON is wrong. Let me check that. How should I do that in a manner that is not going to expose any passwords? Just to make sure, I'm going to hide the screen just for now, just to make sure that I'm not making any stupid mistake. You'll have to believe me for now. So there's, yes, it's in the badges. So what's the URL to fastJSON? Now it should be working. Fastjson base URL is correct. Maybe that was a temporary failure. I can try that again. Okay, let me try that again. I'm gonna run it in a debug container. No, that's not liberator, that's lifecycle. So it did finish and it awarded badges to a lot of people. So I think that's correct. Is it going to fail right this time or not? Yes, it's failing. Okay, good. Did I make a mistake in there somewhere? That's likely. Okay. Error marshalling value. Yes, I think it's expecting me to give it yes, it's expecting me to give it a date time object, and I'm giving it a string. I'm betting that's my mistake right here. 70. Okay. The threshold is now minus delta. Yes. Okay, that's where I'm wrong. Okay, so it's expecting an actual date time, and I'm serializing it. Okay, let's try again. Maybe I didn't fix that in my recent work on badges. I might have fixed that on the, yes, I fixed that already. Okay, maybe I haven't redeployed it. That's possible. It's fine. So yeah, it's working now. Award lifecycle. Yes, it's awarding the badges. Okay, so that's running. Cool. I need to redeploy, to rebuild the container, and it should work. Okay, so that part finished. What else did I want to have a look at? Yes. So I'm currently updating the unit tests of the consumer, so I can merge the changes and maybe we'll be able to deploy the new version of Badges soon. I'm saying we, that's because I'm talking about me and Ryan. Ryan has been working on the front end, so it should be ready now. It should work. So you should be able to log in to so it's badges dot, yeah, that's a bit complex right now because it's in staging. So it's badges.apps.ocp.stg.fedoraproject.org. I can paste that in the chat for people that are interested. A mistake that could have been avoided if Python was strongly typed. It is true. That is very true. There's a lot of mistakes that can be avoided by type systems. I totally agree with that. But it's not. It's getting there in Python. The library that I'm using is, however, extremely dynamic. It's a library that will dynamically generate a client for REST APIs using the OpenAPI spec. So first thing when you start it up, it's going to load the OpenAPI spec, and then you'll have an API. Then you can use the Python API with the name. It will generate function names, for example, that will match the OpenAPI API endpoint names. So it's extremely dynamic and very practical. It doesn't generate a source code file. It's entirely dynamic and within the memory. So I have doubts whether a typing system would be able to work with that, because you couldn't do static typing analysis without contacting the server and getting the spec from the server. So it's all going to be any types anywhere. So I'm not sure that would actually work in that very case. But yeah, that's still right. So if you want to log into Badges in staging, you'll be able to log in as I did and get the usual UI. You should be able to log in with Epsilon. It's not going to use OpenID anymore. It's using OpenID Connect, so OIDC this time. That's all good. Right. So that's working. Yeah, so what I checked with Ryan is that the Badges set of applications isn't frozen by the release, the pending release on Fedora 40. So if we want to update it in production, we could do that before Fedora 40 is released. Maybe we'll do that. So that's why I'm focusing right now on getting the unit tests ported and making maybe a couple additional tests. There are some things in the Badges consumer that I would like to do differently. Let me show you what. So the Badges rules have conditions that are very dynamic. I'm not sure I can actually show you that, but it's a text file, it's a YAML file. It has conditions that can express a query into data number or a count on or a value within the message, that sort of thing. So it's actually code that is compiled at runtime. That's a print that should be gone. It's compiled at runtime. Where is it? Yeah, that's going to be here. Yes, it's compiled at runtime as a Lambda function and executed with the argument of the incoming message. And it's using the globals. So it's giving, when you create, when you compile something from within Python, you can set the global variables to whatever you want. And here it's reusing the global scope from this module, which is not great, I think, because it might have access to things you don't want it to have access to. So I'm kind of uneasy about that. And also it means that we have imported stuff here that we're not actually using inside the module. It's just here so that they're in the global scope for the Lambda expressions, which is not fantastic. It's not great. We should have done that differently. So what I want to do is have a better definition of what the globals are going to be for the Lambda functions by having some sort of a low list of names that are going to be taken from the global scope, plus some other things that can be added, such as the JSON module, the RE module, etc. Right. So I want to build something so I want to build this globals dictionary, not have it so magic and dynamic that I'm not sure what ends up being in there. If I look at the code, I have currently printed, well, not that. I have currently printed the scopes. No, not here. Maybe above. Where did I do that? Should be very visible. Well, that's a lot of scrolling. No. Am I in the right module at all? Yes, I am. Anyway, so when I've printed this scope, it does gigantic with a lot of documentation that is within the module scope anyway, so not really useful. I would like to have more control over what is passed as a global for these Lambda functions. Of course, if I remove things from these globals and some rules depend on it, it's going to break. So I would like to do that before and test it strongly in staging before we move that to production. Okay. What else? Yeah, I realize that it's probably a little bit too small for you right now, but I'm going to increase the font if we stay on that. So yes, yes. So that's what I've been doing recently. I'm happy to finish this consumer, but that's only if it's of interest to people in here viewing this stream. Who is in this stream, by the way? Yeah, some people, some names that I recognize. All right. Yes, so that's one thing. The other thing we could do is look at some other easy fixes that could be fixed right now within the duration of this stream. I'm sure there are some things that are of interest. And third option, just talk about things. So let's look at what we have, see if there's something enticing in here. Okay, that's assigned. This one is assigned. This one is assigned as well. FMN. Yes, okay. For APFS, that's been worked on. I should merge that, by the way. Tarrier, yes, Tarrier it's stale. It is quite stale, actually. So Ryan has been working on that. So we will be recreating easy fixes for Tarrier that will be relevant now. But Badger server is not something that we've used. We could do this one, number 16 here. It's basically modifying bugs let-open message to make a call to fastJSON when sending a message. Simple. Okay, mailman 3, yes, add packet support. That's been assigned, so that's good. Multilines, yes, I think I reported this issue. So somebody is assigned to it, that's good. Lots of people have been assigned to that one. Not by your exporter. Yes, there's this one as well. And there is an issue on Tarrier API about migrating to the new SQL Alchemy 2.0 API. I don't know if you've been using SQL Alchemy, but they have changed the way you build queries in the version 2.0, and we should just upgrade. It's better. I don't know if it's better, but it's the way forward. It has its own shortcomings, such as it's much harder to build a query and count the number of results as well as execute the number. Before, when you had a complex query and you wanted to get the results of this query but also get the number of results in the query, you could build a query, you could call .count on it, it's going to count the number of results, and you could reuse that the previous object that you called .count on to iterate on. It's going to make a second query without the count, and you'll be able to iterate, but you only build your query once. That was pretty useful. If you want to do that with the new API, I think it's a little bit harder. You can just call .count on it. You'll have to, or that's the only way that I found is change the from. Sorry, change the select part of it with there's a method you can call on the query to replace the content of the selection with something else, and then you replace it with function.count of the func.count, sorry, of your object you're calling. So it's a little bit harder, but it's possible. The new API looks much more like regular SQL, I suppose. It has it's built with a function called select, etc., etc. Okay, so that's also something we can work on. So I had 3 options for you. Option 1, let me open oh, I don't have the poll thing anymore because I removed it last time. Okay, let me add it back. No, not quick actions. That's not the one. Blah, 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 blah. No. No. Where are my extensions? That's just a quick action. That's not what I want. Oh, maybe there. Sorry, I'm going to look at this. Extensions, that's where it is. Okay, so if I go back, it is still not here. Okay. Let me try that again. It should be active already. Component 1. Oh, I'm not finding it. I suppose I'll have to just ask people to write it down in this in the chat. Why is it not there? I just activated it. Maybe I need to reload this page. Let us see. Yes, I needed to reload the page. Okay. So I have this polling thing now. Let's go. Question is, what will we work on? Option 1 is Bugzilla to Fedmessage. And I'm woohoo. Be quiet. Okay. Okay, option 2 is SQL Alchemy helpers. Add support for update or create. Okay, option 3, Tarrier API. Right, you should have something on your screen, maybe. If not, try to reload the page. That worked for me. I'm not seeing it on the preview that Twitch gives me, but maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you see it. Do you see it? I don't know where that's supposed to show up. Yeah, I'm not sure you're actually seeing it. Well, maybe you are. It says component 1. Yep. Okay, so that's one option. Oh yeah, and the fourth option is, of course, finishing this badges stuff. So I'm giving you a few minutes to look at that, and in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep. Yeah, so at the moment, badge Tarrier API is using something called ZOP transaction, which is a layer on top of ZOP SQL Alchemy. And I would like to get rid of that because what is this? Like I've been seeing that. No, not the entire ZOP documentation. Thank you very much. So SQL Alchemy handles transactions just fine. It doesn't need that. I'm going to remove that from badges because, yeah, I would like to get rid of that. So for that, I'm going to go to, going to use the other screen. Yes. So there's a module called transactions. Oh, that's not the one. Or transaction. Yes, initialize DB. Yes. Okay. Let's get rid of that in those. So transaction, no, thank you. And I would like to get rid of all this. So with transaction.manager, no, we don't need to do that. Of course not. So with DB session as session, that's how you do it. Wow. Return, skip all the following. Yes, I see that is very useful. Skip all the following. Okay, very well. And that's the only usage of, okay, yeah. Okay, I'll just remove it then. The rest is pretty much like inline comments. Okay. Transaction, thank you. That's, get rid of that. Yes, okay, so we have DB session, a session, sorry. So I create a new database session here, because DB session here, it's actually, so it comes from the model file. You see, DB session is a scoped session, right? So, right, Zob SQL Alchemy. Let's get rid of that as well. I remember when Zob was famous as an application server. That was a long time ago. That's the early 2000s maybe. Zob and Plone were quite popular. But it seems to be unable to die. Okay. Okay, so DB session, and I'm just instantiating it. So DB session is a session maker, which means I can call it and it's going to give me a session. And now I can just do session. And it's not going to commit the transaction by itself. So session.commit with a T. Right. Okay, so that should work now. And this one, yes, and the initialized DB didn't have anything. Yeah, it wasn't actually using it because it's returning before that. You know, leave it for posterity. I mean, we have a source control system. You know, we can always go back. It's always in Git forever. So anyway. Do we still have the, yes. Let's get rid of that. Right. Let's make sure that I have the latest version. I did not. So that fails because, yeah, it's failing. Let me resolve that. I don't need the requirements file. It's in PyProjects. I was just removing Zob.SQL Alchemy. And now I want to make sure that this is correct. Okay, updated upstream, stash base, stashed changes. Yeah, I think updated upstream is correct. I just need to remove some of the SQL alchemy. Okay, next one, updated upstream. Ah, yes, updated upstream, right, but I'm getting rid of that. Skip all the following. Well, I can get rid of that line as well. So those three. Right, there's one more. So get rid of that, and yes, it's session now. Anything else? That seems to be all. Okay, we can add those. So what did we change? We removed the SQL alchemy. We removed the thing left for posterity. Right, we changed that. And remove the dependency. Okay, I need to rebuild the log file because I made a change in the dependencies. So this app says, I feel like we're gonna finish what we started with the badges. Or rather, you gotta finish what you started. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always prefer finishing what I've started, rather than starting on something new. But I would understand if it's not really interesting for people. So, all right. So here I got rid of Zob SQL Alchemy in Terrier API. Okay, I'll just push that. Okay, that's upstream now, and I'm going to remove that from, I suspect remove it from, well, I'm pretty sure it's in Fedbadges as well. Oh, yes. No, that's just in the log file. Okay, so I'm going to update my dependency on Terrier API because I've been using a pretty good trick. The dependency on Terrier API is actually based on the develop branch in Git. So I just need to update it. And it should be sufficient. Terrier API, blah, 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 blah. Incompatible with data number models. Why? Oh yeah, I disagree with that. Oops. So it's right. So right now it's depending on data number. No. Oh yes. Okay. Yes, okay, I'm depending on data number models 110. And what is the latest version of data number models? Well, that's easy. It's 110. Okay, that's good. So why are you unhappy? No version of data number models, Terrier API 081. Okay, data number models depends on SQL Alchemy inferior to. Oh, I would be surprised if that were the case. Yes, that's wrong. It's entirely wrong. Okay. So, yes, this one requires SQL Alchemy 2029. Oh, that's good. And I require SQL Alchemy. I do not require SQL Alchemy. So why is it unhappy about this? (2029), yeah, and data number model 1. Okay, so I think the version of data number models that I have is too old. I need to release a new version first. All right, that's not a problem. Let's do that. So there's been a lot of changes in data numbers, recently. I think I can push a new version. What's the latest version? 1.1 git tag, right? Oh yeah, that's even better than that. I could do, or is it? Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so git log one line, 0110 to now. No, that's not the one. Oh yes, it's not v110, it's 110. See, a lot of changes. So there's updating the dependencies, that's fine. That's probably where the work on SQL Alchemy has been done, right? Yeah, that would be likely. Work on the extract users. Oh yes, is it still running, by the way? I wonder. Let me get back to this other terminal where things are small. Okay, I'm running this, that's fine. I would like to know yes, okay, it was failing because I wasn't right. Yes, I would like to finish. Yeah, I'd like to finish the other thing first. Yes, okay. So in data number, it's related to badges after all. So badges is going to look into data number to see if you have, if what you have done in the past in the infrastructure, and maybe award you some badges according to that, right? For that, it needs data number to have extracted the usernames, the affected usernames of messages, because that's what it's going to be querying. And in Fedora messaging, getting the usernames of the affected usernames of a message requires having a schema, right? And we have received, how should I say that? We have received messages that didn't have a schema before having schemas in data number. So right now I need to make a pass in all the messages in data number, re-import them as with the new schema that are now available and weren't at the time they were inserted, extract the usernames from this message with the new schema, and put the usernames back into the database. And that's the meaning of the extract user scripts that have been writing last week. It's now working correctly, I think. But I would like to make sure that it's working properly before pushing this to production, well, before cutting a new release, right? So I'm going to interrupt my the big run here. It's working, see, it's working, that's fine. I'm going to interrupt that and call the data number extract users script. How did I call it? Did I just call it like this without any argument? That would be a bit dangerous because that means it's going to go over all the message in the entire database. Well, maybe that's what I did. Yeah, do it. We'll see. It's going to be very long, so we're not going to wait for it to finish. I just want to run it and make sure it doesn't crash straight ahead, you know. It is currently considered, yes, okay, dead. Okay, that is 23 million messages that it's considering. And that's just staging. Of course, production is going to be in the billions probably. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not in the billions. It's 327 millions. Yeah, it's dying because I don't know. What if I ask it to do chunk size days with, I don't know, like 10 days? Oh yeah. So if I do this, it's going to run, it's going to extract messages 10 days at a time. Is it going to die? It doesn't die. Could not load message, none is not of type object. Of course, it's going to fail quite a few times for older messages that didn't really have a schema or had one, but the schema changed. But it runs. I've tried it with messages from the past year and it worked fine. So I think that's only the early messages that don't work. Okay, let's say that it's working. And maybe publish a new version, or what I could do instead, so to unblock me, instead of having Fedbadges, let me get back to the other screen. Yes, instead of doing that, what I could do is edit my dependency on Fedora of data number models. Instead of having that, I'm going to have a dependency based on Git as well. So I don't depend on having a new release of data number models. Yeah. I wonder if that's gonna work though. What can you do with poetry? Because it's in a subdirectory, so that's gonna be tricky. Can you have a subdirectory? That's going to be interesting. Dependency types. Wait. Dependency specification, that's the one. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Version constraint, no. Extra Git dependencies, that's it. So I can set the branch, I can set the rev, I can set a tag. Subdirectory, yes. Perfect. Yes, that's exactly what I need. Okay. So subdirectory is data number models. Okay. So now this, I need to rebuild it. I need to rebuild the log file because it needs to query data number. Well, query the repo. And it's going to be dependent on the latest branch, so that's good. That's a really useful feature. Unable to determine package info for path data number models. Blah, blah, blah. Errored out. Is not a directory. Is it not? Did I make a mistake? Maybe it's data number dot models. It is dot models. Haha. You tried to trick me. That didn't work. Let's do it again. Okay, perfect. Now, okay, so now I have the latest version of Terrier API. So I do not have this Zob SQL Alchemy anymore. Right, so I don't have Zob blah, blah, blah here. That's good. And what about transaction? It's not using it anymore. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I can go back to this and try to run the tests. Whew. That's a long detour. What test do I have? Yes. Let's try 311 for now. So where am I at with my unit tests? Oh yes, there are errors. Yes, I haven't converted everything in one setup. So I'm just going to run the unit test manually. So that's PyTest -vv, okay. Tests, and I was doing test rule matching. That's the one that I was doing. Because the complicated recipient, complicated trigger, all that works already. This one fails. Is it failing as before? Yes. Transaction must be committed using the transaction manager. Who says that? I do not think so. I think so. It's still calling Zob SQL Alchemy, so that's weird. It's not there. Oh, it's still there. Why is it still there? Oh. Did I make a mistake? No, maybe I didn't update it. Wait. Yes, I need to install the X-Drive so I get the schemas. Okay, so Are you saying? Oh yes, I forgot to do that. That's what I need to do. Update Terrier API. That's why I wanted, that's the thing that I forgot to do. Removing transaction, removing the optical alchemy, yay! That's much better. Now I don't think I'll get the same error. It's definitely upgrading SQL alchemy, that's good. And Terrier. Okay, good. Now let's run the tests. Invalid requester. That's much better. Okay. So, invalid transaction has already begun on this session. Okay, so that fails at one point. At what point? It fails at... It's doing a rule that's set up, okay. We started the session that begin. Ah, I see. It's unhappy about calling begin again. Yeah, you can do nested. Right. So I'm trying, yeah. So when I call the setup here in the rule, I'm going to zoom in. So here on the right, I'm on the rule and I'm making a transaction and adding a badge. I don't think I actually need to do that. I think I can just do this. I don't want to assume whether I'm in a transaction or not. Let's do it again. Okay, that's much better as far as errors go. Okay, good. So what is going on here? I'm getting an empty set when I call rule.matches, and I should have lmacken and headers. Okay. Good. Test rule matching, line 70. Where am I? Let me close the old things. Okay, that's the one, line 70. Okay, so here it should give me something. Is it actually the case? That's the rule. Body operation is count. Condition is greater or equal to 1. Example real body message. Okay, that doesn't work because I'm not using the actual schema for this. I need to import the schema. I need to call the schema instead of just message, you know. So yes, so what schema am I going to import? It's a body update request testing. So what schema is that? Let me look at the documentation. Available schemas, right? Let's go to body, okay. And it's update request testing. Update request testing, that's the one. Good. Body update request testing. Okay, what's the class that calls that uses this? I don't know. Interesting. How would I know that? I'm just gonna look at the code. Body messages. schema update request.testing. Okay, it's an update request testing v1. Cool. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to import that. From body messages, import. What's the name? Update request testing. v1. Do I have body messages? I don't know. We're going to check that. What did I do? I'm going to set the topic because it has a prefix right here, and I want to keep that. Let's see if that works. So in here, do I actually have the body messages schema installed? We'll see. Apparently not. Oh, it's not exported. It's not exported from the top. Yes, okay. So I need to go to schema. That's right? Yes. My bad. My bad. Let's fix that. Is it any better? Aha. Okay. Still not exported. I've been really not careful. So I suppose update. Thankfully, the iterations are quick. Right, we have different errors now. So key error is alias. That's interesting. I suppose that's a failure when building the message, or is it not? No. So it fails here. Oh. Okay. So there's actually something wrong with my message. It is supposed to be an actual body message, but maybe they have changed a lot. If I go to, so it has agent and update, is that correct? What do they look like? What do they look like? So it has agent, it has update, okay. For now, it's correct, right? Agent, update, okay, good. The definition of update is in base. Okay, so an update has an alias. Doesn't have an alias. Or does it? Yeah, it should have an alias. What's the name of the alias? Yeah, that's weird. It should have alias right here. Yeah, that's not correct. That's probably an extremely old one. You know what? I'm just going to use one of from the tests here. Do I have an example? Okay, let's take this one, for example. Let's say this alias key. You want an alias? I'm going to give you an alias. Let's see if it works now. Now it's user that you want. So it should have user. Does it have user? It doesn't have user, right? Yes, it does not. Let's give it one. It's user and name. Okay. So where was that in this old format? Builds. Submitter. Let's try to have user right here. User, and it's a dictionary with a name key. Yeah, I'm sorry for all the mistypes. I'm not used to my laptop's keyboard. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be, right? Yes. Let's see if my tests are okay now. Ah, I think it worked. Yeah, this one worked. Let's go to the next one. So, YAML specified awardee failure. Why does it fail? So it can learn to pick itself up again, as Alfred told us. Okay, so we're now at line 197 of this file. Thank you. All right, so rule that matches. It's supposed to be Toshio and Ralph right here. And what do we get? We get nothing. Okay, that's, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's because fast role update, that should be an actual message, not this generic message. I suppose, right? This is if we don't override MSG to usernames, we get 2 awardees. Well, that's not entirely true. If you don't override MSG dot usernames, you get 2 awardees. So I should use a schema that gives me 2 awardees right here. I see that it has fast role update. I can use one of the noggin ones, I suppose. So let's import noggin.messages. Noggin messages, okay, very interesting. Noggin messages. Let's use the, this one has 2 different ones, okay. That could be, let's use member sponsor maybe, right? Because it has agent and it has user. That should be good. Fast group member sponsor. Okay, let's do that. Import, it's called member sponsor v1. So I want a member sponsor v1. Okay, it's not actually role.update, it's group.sponsor, I suppose. I can check that. Group member sponsor. And in my body, I have user and I have agent, but is that the right format? Huh, I'm supposed to have an MSG value in there? That's weird. Seems weird. Yeah, okay. Let's just do what it says. So it's supposed to have MSG and then probably a group name, I suppose. Agent, user, and group. Okay. And that's strings, directly strings. Okay, it's not objects. So that's the group. The user is right here. Okay, so now if I run that, that's going to call .usernames on this message, and it should give me the right result. Let's try. We have 6 passed and 3 failed. Let's see if that keeps. Ha, 7 passed and 2 failed. Okay, we're getting there. Test against duplicates. Right, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use the same message from the same schema, except this time it's going to be someone sponsoring themselves, I suppose. Wait, what? That's the one that's supposed to guard against duplicates? No. Yes. No. Oh, if a user already has the badge. Okay, that was totally unnecessary to do that. So here, what I want to do is make sure that, how should I test that? So it should say just Ralph. What does it say? It says nothing right now. Yeah, I mean, I still need to to keep the same message so I can get some usernames at least. But now I'll need to mock the call to, I need to add something to the Target database. I don't need to mock anything. I need to just add an assertion in the Target database. Right, I don't need the Badger client. No, thank you. What I need to do, yeah, I don't need to do that. What I want to do is give the badge to Toshio directly from here. I can do that. It's just I need to use how do I award a badge? Probably using Terrier API, that would make sense. I think I can look into the consumer. I'm supposed to be award a badge here. Okay. Add assertion. That's the one. Okay. So it's done with my, what's the client? It's the Tarrier client. Okay. Okay, let's do this. So here, my Tarrier client that I have right here is going to add the assertion. The badge ID is, I don't know what it is. Well, I can't do that here. I need to do that after having defined the rule, obviously. Otherwise, that can't work. Okay. So the rule dot badge ID, good. The email is going to be Toshio's. Then there's none. I don't know what this is. And link is, what's link? It's none by default. Let's just say that it's none for now. Let's keep it to none. Okay, so I'm awarding the badge to Toshio, right? And then I'm running the thing. And in theory, it should match only Ralph because it's going to detect that Toshio already has it. Okay. Let's believe and do it. Ah, it's failing, okay, but it's getting me some value, that's good. So it's failing, right. It should look here whether the assertion exists. For example, I'm going to print things. Print awardees. That's the one before the duplicate check. And now the duplicate check. Maybe I need to commit. Not so sure. Let's do this anyway. Target client. Let's see what you say. What do you say with this? It's still fading, but it's going to print things now, hopefully. Yes. Same thing. Okay, so that means... Right, that means that it's not... maybe self.badge ID is wrong, or maybe that's not the same badge, or... Print self.badge ID. Okay. Print rule.badge ID. Make sure that we're actually talking about the same badge. And I should have awarded it to Toshio at fedoraproject.org. If something's wrong, I'm going to find it because that's we're getting really to the simple part. Okay. Tests. Okay, that's the name of the rule ID. Good. We're still talking. Okay, that's still the case. Very good. So That means let's call the, maybe the tarrier is different. Okay. Okay. Now I'm comparing this. I'm printing whether the assertion exists here. It should say yes because I've just added the assertion. Let's make sure that my add assertion call is actually working. False. So my add assertion call is not working. Okay, so that's why things don't work. My add assertion call is not working. Oh, it is possible that the user doesn't exist in the database yet. That's very possible. Right? I may need to do an add person first. It's weird that it just doesn't work and doesn't raise an error, but that's an entirely different issue that I'm not going to delve into right now. So what I want to do is here, clients, tarrier clients, add person Toshio. Add the assertion, and now run it. Ah, it fails with a different error. Haha, that's good. Okay, so now my assertion, my add assertion was worked. Where is it? It's failing at add assertion. Okay. Okay. Why? What's that? Inserted to assertions. Statement error. No row was found where one was required. Well, no, I mean, it's insert, right? So, okay, let me check my tarrier API. Add assertion. Okay, so it's making a call here and calling one, right? Where is it failing again? API model line 2. Ah, that's what. Okay. Maybe I didn't commit to it. Maybe I didn't commit the... Yes, I suppose that's the reason. Right. I need to commit here. Otherwise, it's not finding the ID, I suppose. Let's try again. That's long. That's taking quite a long time. Shouldn't be taking so long. That's much too long. There's something wrong here. Okay, something is stuck. Oh, I know what. It's trying to send a message. That's why. Okay. It's trying to send a Fedora message. Right. So, yes, that's not gonna cut it. Where is my conf test? Yes. The notification callback here is the default notification callback. That's not good. That's not, like, we don't want to have the default notification callback, do we? It's right here. It's in utils. No? Yes, it's just, yeah, that's just wrong. Okay, so I'm going to replace that with a mock, but still I want that to be testable. So in here, in my conf test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new fixture, which is going to be called notification callback. Yeah, that's transaction. You go away. Thank you. Notification callback. I'm going to create a new fixture called notification. Yeah. Okay, I'm creating a new fixture called mock notification or notification callback mock, maybe. Let's call it notification callback mock. Which is just going to return a mock object. And so I can inspect that. Okay. Notification callback mock. And okay, in here. All right, so it's going to just use that as the notification callback mock. I can inspect it and look at the message that will have been published. So that's good. And so now this should not block at the same point, ideally, because it's not going to call Fedora messaging anymore. Yeah, that's hey, test passed. Okay, next one. Okay, that's easier. It's because it's trying to call requests, and I've removed requests from the globals in here. So import requests, even though that's not really clean. But I'm gonna address that later, not today. What about now? What do you think? Okay, non-type has no attribute search users. Okay, that's good. Search users, I suspect that's the fast.json. Okay, so fast.json is none right now. Okay, so GitHub to fast self.fast.json. Okay, so my fast.json in the rule was none. Yes, that is correct. It was none. I've set it to none. I can change that to 95. We're getting there. Very close now. To 95. No, it's not supposed to be none. So wait, I have the dict, issuer ID, config, fast.json. That's supposed to be my fast.json client. All right. Yes, I'm not. Yes, I don't need to do that because I don't actually use requests anymore. All right, let's get off. Let's get it off. Let's remove that. What I just did 5 minutes before, and I don't actually need to patch fast.json requests here. What I need to do is patch fast.json clients. And what's my fast.json client? It's just a mock. Okay, it's just a mock. Okay, so what I want to do, yes. What I want to do is have client dot search users return value b yes, actually mock result. Well, it should be yeah. It's dot result, I think. Oh no, that's actually the list. Okay, so the result is this. That's my result. And I'm okay, so I don't need all this. What I do want to check though is that I have called it I thought called once with I suppose dummy at fedoraproject.org. I want to check that I'm calling search user with the right email address. Why non-type? Wait, fast.json client is not supposed to be none, not at all. It is supposed to be this fixture. What is this? Oh yes, of course. Yeah, well, that's not gonna work. I need to yield the client. Of course. Or rather, yeah. Right, that's more useful actually. Okay, that's good. Let's try again. List attribute has no... Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, of course. What is it? GitHub too fast. Where is GitHub too fast? Is it here? Yes, okay. Yeah, right. That's wrong, obviously. Search users. That's not how you use search users. Okay, that should be better. But then my query is wrong. Here, that's... I need to assert it's been called with GitHub username exact equal dummy gh, not that. That seems better. Yes. All passed. Okay. That's one more file. What else do we have? So we are here. We've done complicated recipient, complicated trigger, criteria data number, rule matching. Let's go to test triggers. So old, so old. Definitely not nose.tools. Okay, in most cases, I don't need those classes, especially if there's no setup, common setup. So and I'm going to need a way to create an actual message from Fedora messaging. Okay, so let's drop this. Let's get all those methods indented one level up. Let's make sure that those self arguments are gone. Okay, that's my trigger. Okay, my message, that's wrong. I'm going to try to change that in one setup, in one go. Hopefully that's gonna work. Okay. 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 That's not how you do it now. PyTest raises type error. That's how you do it. And you indent that. Okay, same goes for you. Except it's a value error this time. Okay, same goes for you, except you are handling a key error. Okay, that may be fast. It's a much smaller module. What? That's a much smaller module than the one we've been working with before. Did I save it? Yes, hopefully I did. Don't need unit test anymore. Message. Yeah. Message. Okay. Yes. It's called body. Try again. Perfect. That was a fast one. Let's move to the next one. Test utils. All right. Sure, why not? Ooh. Hopefully it's not a long file. Why do I have the length of my file? Yeah, it's not going to be a long file. Anyway, so definitely not that. Import by test. Pretty sure I'm going to need a way to build a Fedora messaging file message. That'll be very likely. I don't this. Test lambda factory. Right. All those eq, I'm going to replace that with assert equal target. Okay, let's look at the substitutions. Prefix them so we are sure that's the two messages. We don't need self. Okay, those two seem to be correct. Test format args simple. It does have quite a few unit tests. That's really good news. I'm happy about that. It's always better to work on something that has unit tests. You're clearly not as much afraid to break it. Okay. Seems correct. Let's try it. Ah, yeah, of course, my message. That's the message. Wait, what? Substitutions basic. Yes, that's... Okay, I suppose that's good. And substitutions real. That's the message. Ah, that's more a message I know. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. Right, because that's, yeah, this first one was not exactly... Yeah, I need to have this. I expect to have this MSG prefix in the substitutions. That makes sense. Okay, then what is the other? What's the problem with the other one? There's a big diff. Ah, yeah, the I is gone. Okay, that's good. Timestamp and username. Okay, fine. Where's timestamp? Username, that's gone. Where's timestamp? Timestamp. Ooh. Okay. Oh yes, yes, of course, of course. Yeah, that's wrong. That's entirely wrong. That's not the point of doing these flat substitutions. It's actually working this way. SG dot. That's how it is. That should much better. That should be much better. Ah, still nothing. Okay. Oh yes. Yes. I should have the entire thing somewhere. And the topic, I should have the topic somewhere. That's more correct. Still not there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. It's going to be replaced in text file, so I'd better not have a none there. Would be bad. Okay, good. We've done the test utils. What's left? Test YAML collector. That's the last one. How bad is it? It's not bad. It looks small. So import PyTest and probably import a way to build a message as usual. Badger client we don't need. Consumers, no, that's without the S. Thank you. From unit test, that's from when mock was a separate package. Yep, not too recent, I should say. Okay, so now I have this thing. Right, I already have a fixture for the consumer. I think I can drop the entire thing right here. And that's just going to go up. This one is assert names equal set blah 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 blah. Actually, there's a better way to define sets nowadays. Okay. I don't even need the consumer right here. However, I need to have the consumer here. And use that. Okay. I don't even need PyTest. I don't even need to build a message, or do I? I do not. I don't even need patch. I don't need unit test. That's a really small module. So what do you say? Passed. Boom. Okay, I think all the unit tests passed. Run them. Hey, tech support. Hello, hello. I don't know if there's anyone here. I just realized I just saw the notification, and So, any questions on what we're doing here? We are working on Fedora's badges system. Okay, so it failed. No, all passed. It's unhappy because of coverage, of course. Yeah. Well, definitely less than 1,000. But yeah, all tests passed. That's good. So we're working on Fedora's badges system. I don't know if you're familiar with Fedora as a distribution, but we have a system where when you do things in the distribution, such as packaging things or going to an event, or like sending messages to other people and interacting with other people, you get badges, which is pretty nice pieces of artwork, and you collect them and you can display them. And that's a system that requires to be connected to all the applications in Fedora. So it's connected to the message bus, and it's been written about 10 years ago, and it hasn't been updated a lot since. There's new artwork has been created, that's for sure, and new things have been created with the system, but the system itself hasn't really been looked at, and it's fallen behind on many parts, mostly because the rest of our architecture kept being upgraded, and also because the Python language kept improving over the years. So I'm looking at that right now and trying to update it with the recent technologies, I should say, or at least recent applications that we have in Fedora. And the component I'm working on is called Fedbadges. That's the one that listens to messages on the bus and awards badges depending on whether you've done the things that the badges describe, such as packaging 50 packages, for example. So you get a message about the package being updated. I look at your username, I go into the history of messages and see how many packages you've done. If you have more than the threshold, you get the badge. Simple. So I now have all the unit tests that pass, and that's good. So I think I'm going to stop there. It's almost 5 here, so that's one more step that brings us closer to have the new version of badges up in production. I think I can commit that, and there's this change about the globals that I talked earlier about that I want to fix, because I'm a bit uneasy about these globals that are just taken from the module without any supervision. I'd like to check that. Now that I'm done, I would like to show you something. Today I have just received a new little gizmo. I'll show you on the screen. That's called an Aranet 4. It is a sensor that analyzes CO2 in the room and tells you how many parts per million of CO2 there is. It has a green, yellow, and red marker to tell you easily how bad the level is. So CO2 is not extremely bad per se. It's just that after 1,000 parts per million, you lose 15% of your brain capacity. That's been measured, and so, like you think slower and you can't focus as well. And if you reach 1,400, I think you lose 50%. And I had my window open for before starting the stream, and then I closed it because there's public works in the street and it's noisy. But I kept that little gizmo around, and it's gone from 600 to almost 1,400 now. So in just like 2 hours of being in a pretty big room with the window closed, you get to a point where you lose almost 50% of your brain capacity. So no wonder I'm I'm a bit tired after these streams, and you should probably make sure that you have your room ventilated enough. This little one is pretty cool. It has an e-ink display, so it doesn't consume a lot of power, but it still has a display, a direct display that you can look at, and then it has Bluetooth, so it can connect to your phone, and you get nice graphs of the history of your CO2 evolution in the room. I just received that this morning, so I'm interested in looking at that and seeing how it evolves over time, how it evolved during the night, for example, with the door closed or with the door open, that sort of thing. I was rather confident about the level of CO2 in my room because it has very high roof, and I thought it would be sufficient, but apparently it's not. 2 hours walking and talking, that counts, but 2 hours walking in this room, and I'm almost reaching the point where I lose half of my brain capacity. I'm already not good at focusing, so that doesn't help. Well, it's not entirely true. I either don't focus enough or focus too much. Anyway. All right, I wanted to finish on that. This stream is now coming to a close. Let me unshare my screen. All right. And I'm gonna stop there and open my window and refresh the air in my room. It's also, this device, it measures CO2, right? But it's interesting also to measure whether or not being in a room is risky from a COVID point of view. It doesn't measure the COVID virus in the air, but it measures something that is closely related, and that's CO2 because we expire it. So if you're in a big room and the levels of CO2 are too high, your chances of getting infected by somebody in the room that might have it are getting higher, of course. It doesn't change whether or not somebody in the room has it, but if the room is big enough, you can safely assume that somebody might have it. And I'm thinking FOSDEM here. FOSDEM was terrible in that regard. But it's pretty expensive though. I got this one secondhand. So I recommend you do the same if you're interested. But pretty happy about it. I love to measure things. All right, I'm gonna stop there. I'm almost at 1400s. That's bad. Anyway, I'm gonna stop there, and I am going to give you, or to ask you to meet again next week. Hopefully, I'll be done with the entire badges system by the end of next week, and we'll be able to see it running in production, and that will be very cool. I have a few things to commit, a few things to merge. Same thing same thing for Target API, but that's part of badges, and data number, that's not part of badges, and I need to update that. But all right, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you next week. See you, everyone.